यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा दामोदर राधे जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय श्रील गुरुदेव। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनाभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते गोपाल कृष्ण गोस्वामिनिति नामिने प्रभुपाद सहितमेव प्रकाशते च प्रचारं कृतवान् साधु भागवत्पादाय ते नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणम् परमानंद माधवम श्री चैतन्येश्वरम। Okay, Hare Krishna, Panchang pranams to everyone. So we are going to be doing today Shrimad Bhagavatam, first canto, fourth chapter, and 31st shloka. Kim va bhagavata dharma na prayena nirupitaha priyaha paramahansanam taeva hi achyuta priyaha. Someone would like to do the recitation of this shloka?
Mataji, first three slokas we will recite, Mataji. We are not reciting that today.
All right, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, do that. Please do that.
Yeah, before every class we do that.
Yeah, sure, Mataji. Who wants to do?
Yeah, Krishnamurti Prabhu, are you there? Normally he will.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I am here. Please do continue, Mataji.
Who will recite first three slokas?
You yourself do that, Mataji.
Okay. Sure, I'll recite today. One second. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sloka 1.1.1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadyasya yatonvayat itaratas chat esha vinasvarat tene brahma hridaya adi kavaye mukhyanti yat surayah tejo vari mritam yata vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha dhamna svena sadha nirashtakuhakam Satyam param dhimahi. Next sloka, 1.1.2. Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivatam tapatrayonmulanam. Shrimad Bhagavate Mahamunikrite Kim va parai Ishwarah Sadyo Hridavarudyate Takritibi Shushushubhistakshana. 1.1.3 Nigamakalpatarorgalitam phalam Shukamukhat amritadrava samyutam Pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam Muhur aho rasika bhuvi bhavukah Muhur aho rasika bhuvi bhavukah. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. One who want to recite slokas or translation purport, please raise your hands.
Okay. Hare Krishna, yes. Sudha Mataji, you want to recite the shloka? Please go ahead.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
किं
Krishna.
वा भागवता धर्मान प्रायेण निरूपितः प्रियाः परमहंसानां त एव ह्य अच्युत प्रियाः. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay. Who would like to do the synonyms?
Shall I do it or somebody else is doing?
Yeah, someone else if someone wants to.
Yeah.
Shanmuga Priya Mataji, you have raised hand, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Prabhuji.
Mataji, you want to recite synonyms and translation?
Translation
The
Prabhuji.
synonyms and the translation, yeah.
Okay,
Synonyms,
Both.
translation.
Okay. Kimbat or Bhagavata Dharma, devotional activities of the living being, not Mataji, font size Abdul.
Yeah, you want me to increase the font?
Yes, Mataji. Okay, it's better. Not Prayana, almost Nirupya, directed Prayaha, dear Paramamsamam of the perfect being, Deva, that also he certainly Achyuta, the infallible, Priyama, attractive. Translation. This may be because I did not specifically point out the devotional service of the Lord, which is dear both to perfect being and to be the infallible Lord. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So, I will just read the purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Awesome.
Okay, so what is the translation here? It is that this may be because I did not specifically point out the devotional service of the Lord, which is dear both to perfect beings and to the infallible Lord. So this is a shloka which is spoken by Srila Vyasadeva. Okay, and Vyasadeva is, if we see the previous shloka, what Vyasadeva is saying is that he is feeling very dissatisfied. He's feeling incomplete. Okay, so there he's feeling a vacuum in his heart. Hare Krishna, please mute yourself. I think something is okay. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so the mental state of Vyasadeva is actually discussed in these shlokas. And Vyasadeva, he's saying that I'm feeling very incomplete, though I'm fully equipped with everything that is required by the Vedas. And so he is actually able to understand, he's saying that I did not specifically point out the devotional service of the Lord, which is dear both to perfect beings and to the infallible Lord. So yes, there are lots of points, important points that Srila Prabhupada is going to be covering in the purports that we are going to be reading now. And one of the important things that we come to know over here is that devotional service to the Lord is perfect, it's very dear to both the perfect beings and to the infallible Lord. So if the Lord and his devotees are not satisfied, so very naturally we are going to experience this dissatisfaction of the heart. So whenever we experience that we are dissatisfied at heart, so that means that we have not really, quality and quantity wise, we have not worked for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for Krishna and for the devotees. Because if we do that, then the dissatisfaction that we feel inside our heart will it will subside, or it will just go away. Yeah. So the purport here is the dissatisfaction which was felt by Srila Vyasadeva is expressed here in his own words. This was felt for the normal condition of the living being in the devotional service of the Lord. Okay, so the normal condition of the living being. So what is basically the normal condition of the living being? The normal condition is that Jivere Swarupa Hoye Krishnere Nityadas. This is the constitutional position of the living being, which is in complete contrast to what we assume is the normal condition of the living being in this material world. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Hare Krishna. Yeah, I'm audible. Hare
Yes,
Krishna,
yes,
am I
Mataji.
audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah, this is Mataji.
Yeah, so the normal condition of the living being is basically bhakti, and which is in complete contrast to what we see in this material world. In this material world, we are actually basically afflicted with so many material desires. It's like our heart is filled with material desires, and this is the contamination that we have inside of us, because of which we are actually not able to understand the importance of devotional service. We are not able to relish this process, so much so that it becomes like an obstacle for our spiritual progress. Okay, and so the normal condition is basically devotional service, but the material world is going in a complete opposite direction. So unless one is fixed in the normal, Prabhupada is saying here, unless one is fixed in the normal condition of service, neither the Lord nor the living being can become fully satisfied. So this is something which we see time and again. Prabhupada is making this point very clear in his purports, that what is required for us to be happy, what is required for us to be fully satisfied. So unless and until we are fixed in the normal condition of service, it's just not possible. And this concept of happiness, again, in this material world, actually, Maya is completely, it's absolutely illusory. It makes us believe uh, those things which don't really exist, and that's why it's an illusion. It actually makes us believe that there is happiness in this material world, and actually there isn't any happiness. It's like Prabhupada often gives this example, that there is a person who lost his ring, and he's trying to search the ring and under a lamppost. So someone comes and asks him that, what's wrong? What are you looking for? So he says that, see, I've lost my ring, and I'm searching. So he says, oh, where did you lose the ring? And he says, I've lost the ring in the garden. So he's like, why are you searching here under the lamppost? Because I can see the light over here. So so we have all these flimsy reasons, we are chasing our material desires in this world, one desire after another, one life after another, but we are actually searching for happiness. That's what we are searching for. Everyone wants to be happy in this material world, but they're searching in the wrong place, because the material world doesn't have anything called happiness over here. And Krishna has already declared it in the Bhagavad Gita, where he says that this material world is dukkhalayam or shashvatam. So there's an abode of miseries, and a shashvatam, it is non-permanent. So mam upetyetu punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnivanti mahatmana sansiddhim paramam gati. So Krishna is talking about the Mahatmas over here, basically the pure devotees who do not come to this material world again, and they attain the spiritual kingdom um, because they understand that this world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So Prabhupada also explains in his lecture that although everyone knows, that there is this material world is afflicted with so many problems, we have death over here, but we don't quite realize it, you know. And we see in Mahabharata also, when the questions were asked by Yaksha. He was asking questions to Yudhishthir Maharaj, and one of the questions that he asked was that what is the most surprising or the shocking thing in this world? So Yudhishthir Maharaj says the most surprising and shocking thing is that although we see everyone's dying, but we are living as though uh, my number won't come. I mean, like, I'm not in queue. So yeah, this is the most shocking or surprising thing, that although we know that death is there, we know there are problems, but we don't quite realize it. Why? Because we are actually trying to adjust the situation. This is what Prabhupada says, that we are trying to adjust the situation in the material world in such a way that through our planning we feel that we will be able to defeat this bitter struggle. We will be able to defeat material nature's stringent laws and the plans that she has for us, and somehow we are going to be able to be happy in this material world. So which is not going to be possible, because it has already been declared by Krishna, this is dukhalayam ashashvatam. So what does it exactly mean? So if it is dukhalayam ashashvatam, so are we going to live miserable? Are we going to die miserable? I mean, is this what our life is going to have? Pain and misery and troubles and all that? No. There is a big hope. And that's why actually Krishna has spoken this Bhagavad Gita, wherein he says that Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshema vahamiha. So this is a guarantee that Krishna is giving, that if you're going to do my Ananya Bhajan, be rest assured that I will protect what you have and I'll give you whatever you lack. So that is the assurance that Krishna is giving. So many different assurances Krishna is giving throughout the Bhagavad Gita. He says that Kaunteya pratijanihi namaya bhaktaha pranishiti. So, hey Kunti Putra, Arjun, you declare that my devotee is never going to perish. And sarvdharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. So don't worry, I'm going to protect you from all the sinful reactions. So yes, if at all there is a way to become happy in this material world, it is through devotional service, because this life is a journey, and it's a journey towards establishing our beautiful relationship with Krishna. And it's not, we are not meant to be miserable, we are not meant to be frustrated. Actually, it is our birthright to be happy. So there was someone who asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what is the aim of human form of life? And Prabhupada says, the aim of human form of life is to enjoy, but you don't know how. Yeah. So that was something which is very interesting, that the aim of human form of life is to enjoy, but you don't know how. So that is through bhakti, basically. Like how a fish, as long as it remains in water, it's happy, it is satisfied. But as long as it's out of water, it dies. So similarly, now the fish has taken the shelter of the ocean, and that is necessary for its survival. So similarly, it's very difficult, but it is the essential truth that although we are trying to be happy in this material world, and we're trying really hard to be happy in this material world, but being on account of being part and parcel of Krishna, we can only be happy only when we are attached to him, only when we are serving him. So this is the vital point that we miss, and this is something which has been this is the gift that has been given to us by Srila Prabhupada, because it's very difficult. It's almost next to impossible to actually solve the puzzle or the mystery of this material world and come to this realization that what exactly is missing in this material world is our connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this, mystery has been actually unfolded by Srila Prabhupada's purports. Okay, so Prabhupada says here, this defect was felt by him when Narada Muni, his spiritual master, reached him. Okay, so yeah, this is another very important deep point, is whenever this is actually our bhakti, it runs on two tracks. One track is Guru and the other track is Krishna. Okay, so our relationship with Guru again is facilitated by Krishna. Okay, and our relationship with Krishna is facilitated by Guru. So Krishna actually brings the disciple to the lotus feet of Sri Guru, and then Guru takes the disciple to the lotus feet of Krishna. So when Narad Muni is there, then this defect, this dissatisfaction, this emotional vacuum that Vyasadeva was feeling, it was heightened. Okay, as soon as the spiritual master reached, so that Krishna has actually done this, so that now in the conversation that's going to come forth, so this is going to pave way for all for the progress of all the spiritual aspirants out there. This is a very important conversation. This dissatisfaction was actually heightened by Krishna in the heart of, and we see a similar kind of a thing which is happening when after the Mahabharat war, Yudhishthir was very pained, and he was actually holding himself responsible for killing of crores and crores of people out there, and he was very he was pretty pained at this. He was in agony, and then Krishna actually wanted that this was again heightened, because he wanted that Bhishma Dev should be instructing Yudhishthira Maharaj over here. So yeah, we see similar kind of situation. So whenever we come in front of Guru, so our whatever contaminations that we have, all of that comes it comes up, like how you have still waters, and the waters are still, you feel that it is clear, but if there's a lot of mud which is there under the waters, inside the depths, so if you stir it, all of that comes out. So this is the mercy of Krishna, that whenever in the presence of Guru, all of that comes forth, and then a sincere spiritual seeker, he is going to be completely ready to question, which for the benefit of for the benefit of the whole mankind, basically. So it is described as follows. Tasyevam khilam atmanam manyamanasya khityatah krishnasya narado abhyagat ashramam prag udahritam. I'm going to do the translation and purport because we have 6 verses to cover, and somehow because of network.
Only synonyms and translation, Mataji.
Connect, yeah, no. I'm just doing the translation straight away, because we have a lot to cover. As mentioned before, Narada reached the cottage of Krishna Dvaipanya Vyasa on the banks of Saraswati, just as Vyasadeva was regretting his defects. So we have Narad Muni's entry over here. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So the vacuum felt by Vyasadeva was not due to lack of his knowledge. Bhagavad Dharma is purely devotional service of the Lord, to which the monist has no access. Okay, so Prabhupada is talking about monists over here, or the impersonalists basically, who believe in the theory that aham brahmasmi, I am a spirit soul, And once I die, so I'm going to merge with the lump of Brahman, which is the Para Brahma. And I'm also God. Everyone is God. And when they merge into it, when we all merge into it, so we are also going to be God. So that everything is one. So this is the theory of the monist. And these impersonalists, they emphasize a lot on jnana. Okay. So from their perspective, a devotee is basically a sentimentalist, who is just chanting and dancing. And we see this example, very stark example that we have in Chaitanya Charitamrita, wherein Prakashananda Saraswati and his followers basically, they were all ridiculing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his followers, and basically them, that they came and told him that, there is this young sannyasi and he's just chanting and dancing on the streets like an emotional fool, like a sentimentalist. And then Prakashananda Saraswati, he questioned Mahaprabhu. He says that, you're a sannyasi, so you should be reading the Vedanta. So Vedanta is the end of the Vedas, which is basically the essence of all the scriptures. And Vedanta again is written by Srila Vyasadeva, and it has been written in a very scholarly style. Because there are people having different kind of mindsets, and there are a certain kind of people who want to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead through their intellect. They want to catch him through the capabilities of their intellect. So that's why this particular um, this work of Srila Vyasadeva, which is called Vedanta, it has been written in that particular manner. But the meaning nevertheless is very clear, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But on top of that, actually Adi Shankaracharya, he gave his commentary on Vedanta Sutra, and which is Sharirak Bhashya, if I'm not mistaken. And this commentary again, the way Adi Shankaracharya has given the commentary on this is completely screwed up the original meaning, and this ambiguous interpretation that he has given, it distorts the original meaning of Vedanta Sutra, and it is giving this impersonalist philosophy. So now what here Prabhupada is trying to explain is that Vyasadeva, who has given the entire Vedas, Veda means knowledge, so there is nothing in the name of knowledge that actually Vyasadeva has not given through the Vedic scriptures. And Vyasadeva was feeling a vacuum, and his conclusion is that he has not glorified the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees. And then he gives the Shrimad Bhagavatam, which is something which he has given in his maturity. So, for example, we may have school going kids, someone who is in second and third standard, and then we have, kids who are out of school, and then they have done their graduation and post graduation, and then their PhD. So, if a second standard child, if he writes something, a paragraph, if he writes, so we're not going to pay much attention to that, isn't it? But if a PhD scholar, if he is presenting his thesis and he is awarded for that, so definitely that is going to be of importance. So this work, which is Srimad Bhagavatam, was the masterpiece of Vedavyas. It was written in his spiritual maturity. So we can understand the amount of gravity that is there in that. And that is actually the natural commentary to the Vedanta Sutra, which he again himself has given. So Vyasadeva is not a person who is lacking in knowledge anywhere. He is completely perfect in any kind of knowledge, branch of knowledge that is that there may be. But his conclusion is devotional service. So we can imagine that, so we can understand basically that this impersonalist theory is actually quite bogus. So I'm reminded of a pastime over here. Once an impersonalist comes to Srila Prabhupada, and he's giving this example that a drop of ocean, if it mixes in the, a drop of water, if it mixes in the waters of the ocean, so it loses its identity. And yeah, so this is the example that he's trying to explain, that the Brahman or the spirit soul, it actually merges with the supreme Brahman, है ना? So Prabhupada says that the drop of water can mix in the ocean waters, but again the sun will evaporate it and then it will be separated. So it is just very temporary. This mixing thing is very temporary. So, and Prabhupada also used to say that this impersonalist philosophy is so vague and so ambiguous, even the impersonalists, they cannot explain it properly. A devotee is one who actually understands what the impersonalistic philosophy is really all about, because everything is one. So that means when these people, they speak that everything is one, so there is a speaker and there is this person who's hearing, so that's two. So anyways, it is refuted over here. Okay, so let's see what Prabhupada writes here. The monist is not counted amongst the Paramhansas, the most perfect of the renounced order of life. Yeah, Shrimad Bhagavatam is full of narrations of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. Although Vyasadeva was an empowered divinity, he still felt dissatisfaction because in none of his works were the transcendental activities of the Lord properly explained. The inspiration was infused by Sri Krishna directly in the heart of Vyasadeva, and thus he felt the vacuum as explained above. So, see, this is what we were discussing. This divinity, Vyasadeva was an empowered divinity, and he felt the dissatisfaction because he has not glorified Krishna enough. So, whenever we feel dissatisfaction in our heart, whenever we feel frustrated or disturbed about anything, so we can understand that it is basically the quality and the quantity of our devotional services compromised, and we should work at that to enhance that. And this inspiration, again, it was provided by Sri Krishna, so that he felt the vacuum, and now he's going to ask and he's going to question appropriately his Guru Maharaj, who is none other than Narada Muni. It is definitely expressed herewith that without the transcendental loving service of the Lord, everything is void. But in the transcendental service of the Lord, everything is tangible without any separate attempt at fruitive work or empiric philosophical speculation. So, devotional service is so potent that we don't have to actually depend on any other process, fruitive work or empiric philosophical speculation, karma or jnana. We don't have to depend on that. Devotional service is completely independent, and it can actually bestow upon the practitioner all benefits that one can accrue from any sort of fruitive work or philosophical speculation. Because we have a shloka in Bhagavatam, akama sarvakamo va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusha param. So whether we are completely free of all desires, or whether we are filled with material desires, any which case it may be, but if we are engaged in tivra bhakti to the Lord, that is something that can please the Lord, then definitely our desires can be fulfilled, and of course it is going to please the Lord as well. So this is what Prabhupada also says. I was hearing today where he says, the same shloka he is quoted, and he says that if we have a desire, so if we submit to Krishna like that, and if we do Tivrena Bhakti, and what exactly is Tivrena Bhakti, that also is explained by Srila Prabhupada. It has to be in the guidance of a bona fide devotee of the Lord. It is not something that we should be concocting, on our own. So everything has to come through parampara. So under guidance, if we are doing bhakti and intense bhakti, that means we are following the instructions of our spiritual guide properly, then in that case this bhakti that we are doing is, bona fide, and whether we are filled with material desires or we don't have any material desires, we will be able to please Krishna through that attempt. Okay. Next shloka, translation. At the auspicious arrival of Sri Narada, Sri Vyasadeva got up respectfully and worshipped him, giving him veneration equal to that given to Brahmaji, the creator. Vidhi means Brahma, the first created living being. He is the original student as well as professor of the Vedas. He learned it from Sri Krishna and taught Narada first. So Narada is the second Acharya in the line of spiritual disciplic succession. We all know that. He is a representative of Brahma and therefore he is respected exactly like Brahma, the father of all Vidhis. Similarly, all other successive disciples in the chain are also equally respected as representatives of the original spiritual master. Okay, so here Vyasadeva, he got up respectfully and worshipped him. Why? Because Sakshat Dharitvena Samasta Shastri Uktastata Bhavyata Eva Sadhi Kintu Prabhor Eva Priya Eva Tasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. So this is how Vyasadeva is teaching. He is that how a spiritual master, he has to be respected and how he has to be welcomed. So out of his love for his Guru Maharaj, Srila Vyasadeva, he is worshipping him and giving him that position that is given to Brahmaji, the creator. Okay, so this is the next chapter now. Okay. Translation. Suta Goswami said, thus the sage amongst the gods, Narada, comfortably seated and apparently smiling, addressed the rishi among the Brahmanas, Vedavyas. So, Narada was smiling because he well knew the great sage Vedavyas and the cause of his disappointment. So, see this again very deep. Sri Guru actually, he knows everything. Yeah. So, he was smiling because he well knew the cause of disappointment of his disciple Vedavyas. As he will explain gradually, Vyasadev's disappointment was due to insufficiency in presenting the signs of devotional service. So this is something that Narad Muni knew, that what was the reason for Vyasadev's disappointment, and he is going to explain it to him. Narada knew the defect and it was confirmed by the position of Vyasa, because Vyasadeva was himself feeling despondent. Okay, translation. Okay. Addressing Vyasadeva, the son of Parashar, Narada inquired, are you satisfied by identifying with the body or the mind as objects of self-realization? Okay, see here, Narad Muni, he's inquiring that are you satisfied by identifying with the body or the mind as objects of self-realization? So this was, okay, purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This was a hint by Narada to Vyasadeva regarding the cause of his despondency. So straight away, actually, Narad Muni is giving this hint that, whatever that you have written till now, the Vedas that you have written, basically they are on the bodily platform. Whether it is the body, whether it is the mind or the intellect, all of this is the bodily platform. And when we are on the bodily platform, self-realization is almost next to impossible. So we have to transcend this bodily platform to be able to understand what it means to be self-realized and what exactly is the process of self-realization. So this is the hint that Narada is giving to Vyasadeva. This was a hint by Narada to Vyasadeva regarding the cause of his despondency. Vyasadeva, as a descendant of Parashar, a greatly powerful sage, had the privilege of having a great parentage, which should not have given Vyasadeva cause for despondency. Being a great son of a great father, he should not have identified the self with the body or the mind. Okay, yeah, so he's son of the great saint Parashar Muni, and because of his lineage, this kind of a conception that he had now, he was now having of identifying with the body or the mind or being on the bodily platform, it was not something which should have been associated with Vyasadeva over here. So ordinary men with a poor fund of knowledge can identify the body or self as the mind as self, or the mind as self, but Vyasadeva should not have done so. Yeah. One cannot be cheerful by nature unless one is factually seated in self-realization, which is transcendental to the material body and mind. Again, Prabhupada is talking about happiness over here. He's saying for us to be truly happy, it is very important that we understand what is self-realization. Not just understand, we should be factually seated in self-realization. That means we have to be seriously aspiring to be within that zone of self-realization. We are at least aspiring to come in that bracket of self-realization, which is transcendental to the material body and mind, because anything that is connected with the body and mind is going to be material, because our body and mind is material. So anything which is going to be connected with that is definitely going to be material. And again, anything material is going to be a cause of despondency. But again, the same material body and mind and intellect that we have, if it is dovetailed in the service of the Lord, then we can spiritualize it. So we can spiritualize our mind, our body, our intelligence through the process of devotional service. And this exactly is the beauty of bhakti or devotional services. It's not that we have to drastically change anything, or we have to do something completely opposite of what we are doing right now, or we have to just leave everything and go to the jungles and sit there in attempting to realize the self. No, it's not like that. Prabhupada very nicely explains through an example. See, we all have to eat. So Prabhupada is giving this example. For eating, we have to cook. And so when we have to cook, so very simple, just offer to Krishna and then eat. How difficult is that? Prabhupada says it is such a simple thing. And when we do that, so we have actually begun devotional service. And we have actually spiritualized our efforts and our body, because we have engaged that in the service of the Lord. So that is how a simple activity of cooking can become a material activity of cooking. It can actually become a spiritual activity. So devotional service is very simple. Prabhupada says it is so simple that you can miss it. Okay. This is the third one. Translation: your inquiries were full and your studies were also well fulfilled, and there is no doubt that you have prepared a great and wonderful work, the Mahabharata, which is full of all kinds of Vedic sequences elaborately explained. So Narad Muni is now actually he's praising Vyasadeva. He's appreciating his work. That you have done good work, no doubt. So purport: the despondency of Vyasadeva was certainly not due to his lack of sufficient knowledge, because as a student he had fully inquired about the Vedic literatures, as a result of which the Mahabharata is compiled with full explanation of the Vedas. Okay, Prabhupada is specifically writing about Mahabharata because Gita is a part of Mahabharata, Gita Upanishad. So it's not that Vyasadeva is anywhere lacking in sufficient knowledge. He has given the entire Vedas. He's also given Mahabharata, and he has given the full explanation of the Vedas. But quantity wise, the glorification of the Lord and his devotees, which is basically the crux of the masterpiece that Vedas has given, which is Shrimad Bhagavatam, that was missing. And now Bhagavad Gita, of course, is there, and Bhagavad Gita is the word of God. It is the song of God where Krishna has given philosophical sutras basically of how to navigate through this human form of life. It is basically a manual for this human form of life. But the next step forward from there is Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the direct glorification of the Lord and his devotees. Basically, you have so many different case studies. And Bhagavad Gita, where it ends basically, that's where Bhagavatam starts. It's very difficult to actually follow the process of devotional service to understand what exactly is devotional service, unless and until we have some examples of devotees who exhibit what is devotional service. And all of that is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, because you have so many different examples of devotees and how they were able to execute devotional service in times of crisis, and in times of crisis, of course, and through their own through the examples of their own life. All of that is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, whether we take the example of Parikshit Maharaj or Dhruv Maharaj or Prahlad Maharaj or Kunti Maharani or Draupadi Maharani. So it's replete with so many different examples so that we can understand what exactly it is to practice devotional service, and how we can do that. Okay, so with that, we are going to stop here. In case you have any questions or you want to share something, you can please go ahead. We will stop here for today.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, yes.
In this text too, what we understand is in our life, each and everything we connect with Krishna, our day-to-day life. Am I right, Mataji?
Which text are you talking about, Mataji?
This text too, just now, this chapter 5.
Okay, the previous verse?
Yeah.
Chapter 5, second verse. Yeah.
This is which is translated to the material body and mind. And we explain, no? Intelligence and devotion. We have to use everything, all the intelligence, body and mind in devotional service.
Yeah.
And also we have to spiritualize our service. Means everything we have to connect with Krishna, right? Day to day.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the question, Mataji? So this is the doubt.
That's what
is
I'm
this
asking you. That's what I'm asking. So we have to connect each and everything. Our daily existence, we have to connect to Krishna.
Yeah. Bhakti actually is an art. And what is this art? Basically linking with the Supreme. When we talk of Bhakti Yoga, yoga means linking. We have to connect with the Supreme. And Bhakti Yoga is an art. And we have to learn. Actually, any art form, if you practice, it's going to take time. It doesn't really happen overnight. So this art, which is devotional service or Bhakti Yoga, means how we can dovetail everything in the service of the Lord under the guidance of the spiritual master or whoever is our spiritual guide. So we have to have a bona fide spiritual guide or a guru, and then it's the art of basically offering everything in the service of the Lord. This is Bhakti.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Yat karoshi yadashnasi yat juhoshi dasasi yat tapasisi
Yes.
kaunti tat kurushva madarpanam. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Fine. So I guess it's time now. So we can end the session. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णवी की जय। श्रीमद् भगवत की जय। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय।
Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.